Hey listeners, you're listening to the Midnight Readers podcast. Grab some tea, a midnight snack, and cuddle up in bed as we dive deep into today's most popular fantasies, sci-fi, and mysteries. We're your hosts. I'm Lily.
I'm Brittany.
And I'm Christy.
This season, we'll be discussing a dark academia bully romance series known for its smutty content and billed as a Harry Potter for adults. That's right, we're headed to Solaria.
Welcome to Zodiac Academy. Note to students, vampire bites, loss of limbs, or getting lost in the Wailing Woods will not count as a valid excuse for being late to class or this podcast.
In today's episode, we're discussing Book 3, The Reckoning, chapters 14 through 25, where the girls face 3 of their elemental trials and the consequences of their revenge as secrets are revealed on both sides.
Before we get into it, we want to give you a content warning. From this point forward, there will be major spoilers. This includes potentially all Zodiac Academy World books, including the Ruthless Boys and Darkmoor Penitentiary series. We're also avid fans of the Moss Universe, Fourth Wing, and other popular romantasy book series. And we might accidentally let spoilers slip there as well. Sorry in advance. Like the books, this podcast is rated R. There is going to be a lot of smut and a lot of coarse language. Be warned.
Also, a friendly reminder to please like, subscribe, and follow. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
Great. Last we left off, Darcy and Lance were finally doing the dirty. Tory, however, has a date with the dragon on the books, and after receiving a message from Darius, she heads up to his room and runs into Marguerite.
Ah, yes. Lovely Marguerite, I'm so glad you're back.
Back? Where'd she go?
Nowhere. Every time I see her in the book, read about her, I'm just so happy that she's
Around.
there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I loved Tory's basic bitches and average assholes. I was like, the English major in me is like, oh, I love the alliteration.
It's beautiful.
At some point, does she punch Marguerite? It's something like, give me something to look forward to.
Oh, that's good.
Would you think that, and I'm not saying that this happens, as Tory points out in her little pretend core, she's like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to take you down by screwing Darius senseless, being head cheerleader, and I forget what else she said, but what if she were to accomplish all that?
No, I want violence. I want violence.
Jesus Christ.
I want blood.
So is that a foreshadowing I'm hearing?
No, like I said, it doesn't necessarily happen, but I don't remember if Tory gets any violence against Marguerite.
So that would be a no then, because you would remember.
Would I, though? She's so
I don't know about that.
forgettable.
Not that.
I think Brittany would intentionally forget and say, I don't remember.
See, Lily's making it nice. What she means is Brittany will fucking lie.
She will omit a fact if she can.
Just like
She will
lead
lie her ass
in
off.
the wrong direction with the truth. So...
It's funny.
And I love that Darius overhears the, I hope you meant the screw Darius senseless part.
He's like, oh, okay. All
She's
right.
like, in your dreams. And he's like, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like he's got her number with how she is.
Yeah.
Her temperament.
It is fun.
All right. So Darius and Tory leave from his room. Mommy and Daddy A-Crunks aren't home. So Darius takes her inside and they get to visit with Xavier for a little while.
Oh, I just love Xavier so much.
Mm-hmm.
I just love him.
In this part, oh my god.
I know.
Okay, this is getting ahead, but when he turns into a Pegasus and he's terrified, and she's like, what, this is awesome, dude. That is how Darius should have reacted when he first found out.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that was one of the things that really bummed me about that part was when he told Darius and Darius was like,
we can hide this.
Yeah, he wasn't cool about it.
Yeah, and Tory is all like, I'd rather be a Pegasus than a lame old dragon. And Darius is like, thank you. She's like, what for?
And can I just point out too, I know a lot of times we're kind of dissing a little bit on the authors for certain things, but at the end of the day, they do what a lot of authors cannot do, which is get you to care about the characters.
I know.
They do such a good job with that I would rather have all the flaws and keep that part than have it reversed.
I agree. That was one of the things that kept me reading, was that it evoked so much emotion in me in the first book, was that I had to see these girls get their revenge. And then after that, it's like, I care so much about Geraldine. I care so much about Xavier.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Totally in love with Orion.
That's a description.
Yeah, that should be a blurb on one of the books.
But think about how little Xavier is in the books, and yet you love him.
Yeah.
You want to protect him and make sure he's okay, and that he, I would love to see him as king.
Oh my gosh.
You'd like to see him as what?
King.
King?
Yeah, maybe they would let him be like a co-king or something.
Have a Game of Thrones situation where they elect a new king at the very end because all the kings and queens were killed off.
I haven't seen Game of Thrones, so I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Oh my god, spoiler.
Spoiler alert. Yeah.
Let's just say most people were very
My
unhappy
bad.
with that one too.
Oh, yeah, I remember reading about that, but yeah, I won't watch it anyways.
It hasn't happened in the books. That was how the TV show ended. So it may not happen in the books. Here's hoping it doesn't happen.
Isn't
in
he writing the
books.
last one?
He's supposedly writing the last one, but it's been like 10 years since
Yeah,
the last one
he
came out.
says he's writing it.
All right. So it is storming outside, and Darius won't tell her what he wants as a prize. And again, I just want to be like, Tory, you idiot. You make him say it up front. You don't say anything you want, you can have. And you don't just let him dictate what the prize is after, because you never know. He says it's probably something that isn't available if it isn't a prize.
Yeah, her saying anything is so loaded.
Oh, sorry. I just remembered the other thing that Tori said that she would do if she were Marguerite, and that was dye her hair a shitty red.
Oh yeah, that's a classy insult.
Except for,
You're like, I took that personally.
a little bit.
Her saying anything is a loaded question. Like, you can't just fucking say anything. That's dangerous.
It is. I love that he was like, maybe I'll make you wear a jersey with my name on it at the next pitball match. And she's like,
I'm obsessed.
dude, I'm going for a bike. You want me to wear a uniform with your name on it?
He has his priorities straight, okay?
Yeah. And the whole scene with them sliding down the stairs.
Oh my god, that's so
her and
cute.
Xavier.
Oh my god, it's adorable.
And I love that Xavier was like, don't be a chicken shit. We're going again.
He just seems like such fun.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It sucks what he's going to have to go through.
What?
Sorry.
Brittany, you can leave.
He's got Daddy A Crux as a dad, so
Yeah,
he's going to get some development. And we're going to start getting some more of his POVs.
I love that.
But it's going to be a hard,
I do, but it's gonna be heartbreaking, isn't it?
a little bit, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm ready for that.
Until about book 4 or 5, something like that. It'll get easier once we get there.
Does he
But-
physically assault him, or is it more how he treats him?
Oh, I mean, we've already learned that
I know he beats Darius.
he beats Xavier too.
Oh.
And especially after he turned into a Pegasus. I don't remember when he says it, but Xavier was like, there are times when he would just be laying in bed and his dad would come home drunk and beat the shit out of him just because he was angry. Wasn't anything to do with him, but
Okay.
he beats the shit out of both of his sons and threatens to kill Xavier to keep Darius in line all the time.
Yeah, he's gotta go.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gotta go.
I think anybody that does that kind of shit has to go.
Yeah. Not my favorite character.
I hope a Pegasus kills him.
I hope a Pegasus bites his dick off.
Oh my
God.
god.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
I think whatever ending that he does get, it probably won't be enough.
Yeah. I'm afraid of that as well.
And how about Jenkins the butler is a
Oh
snitch?
my God.
Fucking Jenkins.
The name. The name. Like Professor Pyro.
It's as on the nose as Chica.
I mean, it's a little bit better than if they'd named him Jeeves.
It's
Close
like
second.
the British Jeeves.
Yeah.
Or know what they think is the American Jeeves. Jenkins.
Jenkins is another one of those characters, and you don't really get to see him, but I hope he suffers a lot.
Oh, okay. Noted.
Because Darius notes here that Jenkins tattles on him a lot, and he does it knowing what the consequences are going to be.
Yeah.
Knowing that Lionel will beat his son,
Yeah.
and he takes pleasure in it.
Okay, so that's what I was about to ask. So Jenkins takes pleasure in that aspect of it, and it's not so much that he's protecting himself or his family.
No.
Okay. So Jenkins needs to die too,
Yes, he does.
right?
So Darius also takes Tory up to his room, and she's like, I see a little boy in this room, but also a little bit of the man. But he's got all these childhood photos, and they kind of share a moment where they're almost bonding. And then Tory's like, but he tried to drown me, so bring that up. Almost if she's trying to force herself into putting distance between her and Darius.
Like consistently reminding herself, but don't get too comfortable. Don't get too comfortable.
Yeah.
He's awful. Don't fall for him.
Yeah, but blatantly she doesn't mean it, because otherwise she would just stay away from him. So,
Right.
you know, there's a way to do that.
There's always those things that, like, I know that Diet Dr. Pepper is bad for me, but I can't stay away.
So Darius is now in Diet Dr. Pepper.
Oh, man. And Xavier with his whole, oh, Dad says you might be a dragon. Maybe you two should marry.
So the next time you're at work and you're drinking a Diet Dr. Pepper and you're sucking real hard.
Oh my god. Oh my lord.
Just remember.
That Dr. Pepper is now Darius.
Oh my god.
Never look at a Diet Dr. Pepper the same. I mean, sometimes it does go down.
You're just making it worse.
But in all seriousness, I don't know if you've ever experienced drinking a drink and then, like, I think it's because my thyroid, but my throat closes up and then it just burns all the way down.
How about that?
Yeah.
That's fun.
Good stuff.
Anyway, Xavier suggesting Darius and Tory get married.
Oh yeah.
God.
That was a cute moment. And I love that Tory was like, nope, I'll be first in line to Darius's wedding to Mildred.
That's amazing.
Ah.
Xavier is so great. I just love him.
Do y'all think that she'll actually attend Darius?
I don't think he's going to get married.
You don't think that Lionel will
God,
force
no.
him to marry Mildred?
No. I think
Wouldn't
it'll
that
be
be
set
funny?
up
If he did get married to her though.
to Mildred. Oh, that would be great. I would love that. I would love that book series.
Absolutely.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I just want to see that, even though I don't think it's going to happen, but I would love to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And Tori points out that she isn't pure here, which, you know, has connotations for later.
Mm-hmm.
Did we think she was? I mean, is that clarifying something?
Well, for the sacrifice thing, whatever is going on with the moon, they have to be pure, right?
They do, but I don't think for us that was ever a
Right.
question, though.
But I was wondering if maybe that's what Brittany was getting at.
Oh, I figured, but for the reader, I don't think it was like a...
Yeah, it's just pointing out Lionel's hatred of mixed
Okay.
blood.
Yeah.
Okay, now that's... Yeah, I missed that part. I thought you meant in terms of like pure of heart or whatever we're thinking for.
Yeah, I also thought that's what you were talking about, but that makes sense.
Well, we'll talk more about the pure thing later. But yeah, just in this instance, Lionel is very much like in Harry Potter. You have the half-bloods, mudbloods.
Yeah.
Though they're not mudblood. I can't remember the actual.
And
Mudblood is the bad name for them. The
And then
the
half-blood.
N-word for them. And
Half-blood.
half-blood.
Because the half-blood
But-
prince.
Yeah.
And then pure blood.
And so here you have pure-blooded as in you have two dragons as a family, or two vampires, or
Another reason
whatever.
Darius is Draco.
Yeah.
God.
All right, so after Xavier and Tory have their little slide down the stairs, he's having so much fun and he's happy, so he starts glowing. And Tory's like, shit, dude. If I didn't know better, you'd turn into a Pegasus.
I love
And
the
then he
audiobook
does.
for this part. She's like, shit, dude. She did it so well.
I've listened to it like 20 billion times by now.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. It's
No,
I
that's
can
such a
see
fun
his face.
Yeah, and I love that he lets her pet him, and she's like, you're the most beautiful Pegasus I've ever seen. Also, I think the authors have I think lilac might be their favorite color. In the Dark Fae series, the main character, her hair is described as lilac.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, when he turns into a Pegasus and he feels like accepted a little bit, I just really needed that chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he turns back into a fae while she's hugging him, and she's like, naked boy!
There's a great anime that I love, like one of the first animes I ever got into in manga, and the main characters turn into animals when you hug them.
Oh my God. I
Yeah.
would be hugging everybody.
Yeah, so it's like a curse. It's like a curse, but when they turn
How
back,
is that a
they're
curse?
naked.
You get rid of people, you get animals, and you can hug everybody.
I'll be honest, I would totally spend my days as a cat.
Well,
Just
that's the
sleep all
thing is
day.
they don't get to choose the animal. So one of them is a cat, but the other
I'm okay
ones,
with any animal.
there's a bunny, there's a boar, there's
Aw.
a dog, there's one that's supposed to be a dragon, but because dragons don't exist, he turns into a seahorse. And then everyone
Is he
panics.
not in the water when he turns
No,
into a seahorse?
yeah, so everyone panics and they have to find him water immediately.
Gosh.
Anyways,
Yeah,
It
there's no
reminds me of
animal that I don't think is cute, so I would gladly be a part of that world.
it's just very inconvenient because, someone runs up and gives them a hug in the hallway and they're like, fuck, I'm gonna be naked. No!
Okay, so maybe some people you wouldn't hug.
Yeah.
Right.
So Tori notices that he is aching for contact and that he is quite broken already.
Yeah.
And it's so sad.
It's really sad because if you've gone long periods of time being alone, COVID,
Yeah.
it's really sad. It's like a shitty way to live.
I can go weeks on end without talking to people or having any kind of contact. But even for COVID, I was like, I need to go back to work.
Yeah.
I need it.
Yeah.
And my coworkers were like, Brittany wouldn't shut up. She talked too much.
Oh my gosh.
Normally we can't get her to talk enough. So he kisses her on top of the head and then returns to his room, and Darius is standing there looking at her like she hung the moon. And she doesn't even understand why. And he is like, please don't tell, please.
I love this interaction.
Yeah. It does really show how much Darius loves his brother, even though he was shitty for how he reacted to finding out that Xavier was Pegasus.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you can look at it too in the way that how he was brought up, but he's learning to react a different way being around Tory. So, I mean, that's definitely got to say something for him.
Yeah.
That's true, but I don't think that will matter to Xavier. He was already being beaten by his dad, and granted, when Darius found out, he was scared for Xavier. But he was already being locked into his room, hidden away. He needed that acceptance.
Yeah.
And he didn't get it. And so Darius did kind of let his brother down there a little bit, I think.
Yeah. I agree.
Hopefully he'll make up for it.
I mean, Xavier still loves his brother, of course.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as publicly, hopefully he'll make up for it when it counts or when the time comes.
We'll see. All right, it is time to race. They leave through the garage, and Darius has the idiotic idea to open up a key lock in front of Dory. And she writes down that code.
I immediately was like, I told you. What did I say? What did I say? This bitch is gonna steal a bike.
Yeah, she's sitting there thinking about how much money she could make just from stealing some picture frames. Like, it's all gold, so...
And he doesn't seem to care that much about his bike collection to the level that she would. So I feel like, would he really notice if one's gone?
I forgot to mention this. When they're heading up to his room, they start talking about their childhood. And Darius describes his as, oh, it was like any other kids. We had nannies and we had everything that we want. And it just kind of shows how out of touch Darius is with the rest of the world.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got money out the ass.
Yeah. And clearly not every other kid is growing up the way he is.
Hopefully that's some growth, though, that we'll see throughout the series, is him becoming more aware of, because I think it kind of hit him when Tory, because she made her comment and then she was like, okay, I'm not explaining, I'm not going into it too much, but maybe even just that little bit kind of hit home with him.
I think for Darius, again, jumping ahead a little, and I know he was angry at the time, but when Orion describes how he found Tory, he was like, I don't care. He felt a little bit, but he was like, meh.
Yeah.
So I think for him, he's going to need to see in order to really get it.
Yeah, he needs some work, especially by the end of our section here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big baby.
So Tory receives a whole bunch of messages from Caleb, and Darius is super unhappy about it.
Caleb's jealous.
Caleb's jealous. Darius is jealous. There's a whole bunch of jealousy going around.
What's that like, having two boys fight over you? What the fuck is that like?
I love that Darius is right in a way that Caleb is being a bit desperate here with the whole 15 photos of him naked and freaking out about the fact that she's with somebody else. At least Darius's jealousy is, I'm just going to be angry over here.
It makes you wonder, is he upset because it's Darius? Because I feel like if it was a lesser Fae, maybe he would not be as threatened.
I think he would.
You think?
I think he would be insulted more that it would be a lesser Fae.
I don't know. I think he's comfortable enough and confident enough that he's fine being desperate with her. Because that's what he wants, and he just, he's not hiding who he is. He's not playing games. I think that's why I like him, though.
That's the thing. We learned, I think, last book, he says that he's never been one-on-one with a girl before. He's never been exclusive. He's never been exclusive. And he's trying for Tory.
Yeah.
And she's like...
She is, but I love how he is. And it's not like he secretly does that with her. Like, he's perfectly fine showing his desperation to even the other heirs.
Yeah, I do have to commend him on doing it in public.
Though Tory doesn't seem to want it done in public. She likes her relationships to be a little private.
And that's fair, but also I think it's admirable that he's like willing to put himself out there like that. It's a little vulnerable.
True.
It is, but it reads so confident. I think that's why I really like him. It takes a lot of confidence to be like, I'm desperate for you, you know?
I agree.
Keep that like in mind for next section.
Oh, when he's all pissed.
Yeah, he's all pissed.
Angry bunny.
So Darius sends a photo of them to Caleb to prove that they're together.
Which is the ultimate fuck you.
And of course, it's him kissing her on the head and her laughing. And as Caleb points out later, it really looks like they're together.
I can see that image in my head so well, and it looks so cute.
She should send that to Marguerite.
She should.
Yes.
Well, she was like, should I make it my profile pic?
She really thought about it. She was like, but we look so good together. But he drowned me.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Gotta remember that.
She has either got to fuck him or let it go.
So they each choose a bike, a random route, and agree to a no magic rule. It's a 15-mile track, and the first one back to the drive wins. And Darius is so certain he's gonna win.
Yeah, and it's raining too.
Oh, it's storming.
Yeah,
but there's a reason it's storming too.
That's terrifying. Oh, is it like Xaden? Is somebody fucking? Tell me
There
yes.
is a character that is a storm dragon.
Do you find
want
out
to be
later?
A storm dragon.
He's the only one in existence. You find out that he caused this storm in the boy's point of view.
Okay,
I love
okay.
that.
I know, I would love to be a storm dragon too.
I would just
He's the
thrive.
only one in existence.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Then you could have thunder poops.
What did you say?
What the fuck? What the fuck, Christy? She said thunder poops. What?
Okay, so the storm dragon is part of the reverse harem, so
Again, I really need to read that.
Okay.
it's not as good as Zodiac or the Darkmoor Penitentiary.
They never
I
are.
think.
The reverse harems never are.
I mean, the Darkmoor Penitentiary is a reverse harem too,
Okay.
but I think it's better than the Dark Fae series.
Noted.
Only because the Dark Fae series also takes place at a school, and it's very, like, I don't know. The plot feels like it would be more towards me because she goes to this school thinking, I'm going to find out who killed my brother. And
How would that be more towards you?
I like mystery.
Okay.
I like there to be a plot.
That's why Brittany's always asking us about our theories.
Yeah.
Yes, but mine always get knocked down pretty quickly.
Maybe I'm just trying to guide you in the wrong direction.
No, I'm almost always wrong.
All right, so they race. Both take the lead at points, but near the end, Tory's in the lead and is likely to win when lightning strikes a tree and it bursts into flames and falls on the route right in front of Tory.
Can I just say I was very disappointed because I really wanted Tory to win. Like, clearly win.
Yeah.
Clearly win. Okay, I was going to say, even Darius admits it later to Orion that she might have won.
Yeah, she
was
definitely
probably
won.
gonna win.
Yeah.
And I hate that at the very beginning she was like, I think that he offered me a bike if I win and he'll go through with it. I know it. And then he doesn't.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid.
What'd you say?
I didn't see the point of the whole crash thing other than like, oops, we're on top of each other. Hee hee. I mean, I understand like her power comes out and that's kind of cool, but that seems so secondary. So I didn't understand why they didn't just let her win. I felt like that would be a little more.
The whole crash thing is to bring them, like, she remembers later, she's like, I can't help but think about us laughing after. It's to make them bond a little bit so that when he turns on her in the air cove, it's even more devastating.
I don't know. Beating his ass is bonding.
And the bikes are a mangled wreck. And Tory's ribs are broken, which Darius immediately heals. Doesn't heal himself, but he heals Tory. And then he's like, let's get out of here before Jenkins notices and tells my father. So they go back to his room and have yet another moment where he kind of like, please stay. Stay with me, Tory, stay.
He gets a little whiny. And you know what? Sometimes I like that in a man, but Tory doesn't like that ever.
Yeah, and he won't admit that she won. So she's like, see ya, going back to my own room.
Yeah. Pretty lame of him, actually.
And then he messages her, maybe it's a draw. Darcy is still in Orion's bed hours later than intended, but she really, really needs to go. However, there's a knock at the window.
Oh my god. I started to panic. I was like, oh my god, it's Washer.
I don't know if he would knock though.
I could see it. I could see him being like, hello,
He would just be like-
let me in.
Yeah, he would knock, but he would also be like, Lance, it's me, Brian.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I envision.
I can see him just popping through a window and walking up to the bed, being like, hey, can I join? You know?
So with Washer, he might stick his head in some windows and open spaces if he can. He might stick other things
I was
Building
about to
open
say,
spaces or
like a nail plot.
like the Pegasus.
oh my god. So that makes, I was about to say, like, what is he sticking in other places? I don't want to know.
Do we really want to go down this path?
You know, if he walks around in a Speedo.
A Speedo song.
Oh god.
Easy access.
God, curse that man.
All right, so Lance is like, oh, it's just Darius. Let me sneak you out. And he's really pissed at Darius because he's like, I wanted another hour.
Cock blocked. And for once, Orion is just the most beautiful character. Again, I guess. Not for once. again.
What do you mean by that?
It's just the moments he has with Darcy, I just think you're beautiful.
They are.
Until he's a complete asshat later. And then I'm like, fucking, god damn it, what is wrong with you? But then he has to, like, sneak her out the back.
Yeah. The whole Air Cove thing is a pittance of his asshole-ishness.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Yeah.
But
what's great is Darius won't leave him alone. He's like, knock, knock, knock.
Yeah.
I know you don't have someone in there.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Let me in.
Yeah. Let me in, Lance. And then he pinches himself to make him hurt through the bond.
Which is so... I was like, what are you, a child?
Yeah,
Like,
what an ass.
So can Orion feel it when Darius is having sex?
He can only feel
hurting.
I think we already touched on
What
that.
if he's doing a little S&M? Can he feel that?
Probably.
Oh my god.
So
Just terrifying.
Draggy D is outside peeking in his window.
Nice.
I hate that.
You hate that? The peeking in the window or the Draggy D?
Draggy D. What's that, his rapper name? Come on now.
I think so. Oh, and Darius gives him a hard time over the numerology book. Numbers are hot.
I don't understand this. They're so weird.
So Orion is the book nerd. He would totally have been a librarian in another life.
And
And
I
he
love
gets
that.
hard over books.
My lord.
I mean, if you think about it, isn't that also what we do a little bit? But
The daydreams you're giving Lily.
His books are numerology and history. And, you know, they're not smut.
I also feel that way, but not to the level.
So, like Seth, Lance totally forgets that he has a fuck buddy that he could have blamed the hesitation on.
Boys are stupid.
It also kind of shows how much Francesca really means to Lance and how much Kylie means to Seth.
That's true. It shows their real feelings on them.
Yeah.
They're forgettable.
They are forgettable. Poor Franny. Not really.
I'm happy to forget her.
Not really. Yeah.
And Darius admits that he stole a jade paperweight dragon from his father's office. It is in the image of Lionel, and Lionel has a life-size construction of it happening in the backyard. Can somebody say narcissist?
Wouldn't it be funny if he died from like a large stone from that fucking statue or something? That would be the
Somebody
best.
hit him over the head with his own face.
That would be great.
Oh, yeah.
That would be
Oh, yeah.
great. Too bad I don't think the statue in the backyard is done yet, so...
Darn.
Yeah,
It's
it's under
done?
construction right now, and I don't know if they ever mention it again.
Hmm.
Anyway, so Lance grabs his own draining dagger and carries Darius off to a concealed cave in Air Cove. There they perform some dark magic and spy on Lionel's plans for the eclipse. For this, the dark magic here turns pain into pleasure, so little BDSM there, I guess. Is it masochist?
Mm-hmm.
Cuts themselves
Yeah.
and they're like, ah.
Little sadomasochism.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
that was an unnecessary addition.
I think it's supposed to show how addictive the dark magic can be.
Mm-hmm.
But they are transported to the court of Solaria to Lionel's memories yesterday. This part reminded me so much of the pensieve from Harry Potter. And I only got it on this. I never thought about it when I first read it that way. But after we started talking about how Harry Potter-esque it is, I was like, yeah, I could see this as being the pensieve. Dark magic pensieve.
But are they looking at his memories or are they looking at what's happening currently?
No, because they
Memories,
said
isn't
they
it?
could be transported to past, present, or future.
Oh, yeah.
So this happened the day before.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that as soon as Stella shows up, Darius is like, if my dad starts fucking your mom, I'm out.
Oh my god.
And Lance is like, agreed.
In a way, it makes them more like real brothers.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Hmm.
Well, Lance calls Darius his best friend. He's like, please tell me you're fucking Tory so I can tell you about Darcy.
I love that, like, childish innocence.
I'm like, you want to admit to Darius that you're committing a crime with his mortal enemy? Are you sure about this, Lance?
He can't really do anything, though, because they're so
That's
connected.
very true. If Orion ended up in Darkmoor Penitentiary, it would be very bad for Darius.
So,
Or even if he was power shamed and didn't go to prison. What
so
were you
you're
gonna
telling
say?
me Darkmoor Penitentiary is like this huge jail, and that's what you're reading about right now?
Yeah.
His dark jail. What's the dark jail in Harry Potter?
Azkaban.
Azkaban.
Oh my god.
Azkaban.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my gosh. Except for Dementors, they have the Valorian? I don't know.
They suck stuff?
Kind of crazy that the comparisons continue to...
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I can't. Now I'm going to see that whole series different.
That's great. But anyway, they look into Lionel's recent memories.
All right. Madame Monita, the best and most expensive astrologer in Solaria, says the stars are in favor for Lionel's plans for the eclipse if they choose the right person. It looks like they've chosen Xavier, but it says that they need somebody pure. Do we have any thoughts on what this purity they're looking for is?
I think it's pure,
Pure of heart.
I was thinking that too.
I know y'all both described Xavier as pure. Do you think that if Lionel uses him, the ritual will work?
Assuming everything were to go correctly, I think that he could be the right person. I don't know if I want him to be, though. I don't know if I want whatever ritual he has planned to go through.
Do you think Darius and Lance are going to save him?
No, I think Tory's
Tory's
going to
gonna
save him. Yes. I think she's absolutely going to save him. But I think if they're looking for pure of heart, I think Xavier is definitely that.
I think it would be great if the twins saved him.
Now, Stella says that she's going to recheck the scriptures. So this is, I guess she's translating something to get this ritual. What do you think is the purpose of this ritual? Do you have any theories on what's going to happen? What they're looking for?
Well, we kind of talked about how it could be a ritual, something to do with the nymphs. Either summoning them or turning people into them, or I don't know. He's definitely gonna, it sounds like he's calling on dark magic now that we know that that is something that is possible to control. But what it is, I have no idea.
I think the same thing. I think it's got something to do with the nymphs, whether he is somehow either turning them into nymphs or turning them into, like, using shadows in order to control them to do nymph-like work.
Nymph-like work?
But
is that killing people? Is that what nymph-like work is?
Well, kind of like we had talked about, like, shapeshift and stuff like that. If he could force them to shapeshift into a nymph and do, I don't know. I think he's using it to try to gain control of the kingdom. But yeah, I think it's definitely Lionel
I agree.
Behind the nymph.
All right.
What do you think, Brittany?
My thinks don't think because they know.
Me thinks.
Just that sentence. My thinks don't think because they know.
They don't think, they know.
Write that one down.
Yeah, on a shirt.
And of course they leave it with Lionel rolling his zipper down. And Lance is like,
disgusting.
yeah, he's like, that's the most intimate thing he can think of is letting Stella blow him off.
That's one of the things that I love about Orion. Can I just say, he consistently is he's just so cerebral in a way that is satisfying. The other characters are just not smart in the same way. I just love hearing him think.
I mean, there is a reason that Orion is my favorite.
But we haven't happened upon it yet.
All the things. He loves books. He's smart. Okay, so in the air cove, he gets angry. And just a short ride on Darius, and he's already thought things through.
Yep.
Okay, that came out totally wrong.
Christy, if there's one thing, you are consistent. Your mind is consistently in the gutter.
Why are y'all not hear that?
Whereas Darius is like, but Milton burned my room down, even though he was standing right next to me at the moment that it was burning.
Exactly.
And of course the twins couldn't do this. That's inconceivable.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Orion's like, I'm surprised all of them haven't met the end of revenge from the twins.
Exactly.
Yeah, but he also didn't. Well, does he know, though? Yeah, I guess he does know. He knows about the fleas and the poo. And
Mm-hmm.
He learned that in the middle of a pitball game, though. So his mind was elsewhere.
But I'm surprised he didn't put it together right then. That You've been had.
I think he was more focused on Darius
Yeah.
and not thinking it. He had to calm Darius down.
Plus, too, I don't know if that would really matter to him.
Oh, he
It's
doesn't-
not that big of a deal. Your
Yeah.
broom burned. Suck it up and,
Yeah. And for Orion, he's like, they're Fae too.
Yeah.
Suck it up and move on.
Yeah.
Darcy wakes up alone the next day. Poor girl. And she's kind of scared about how much she feels for Orion. I mean, to be fair, it's only been like 5 weeks and she's already thinking she's in love. When someone starts hammering on her door, it's Seth. And he's got some questions for her.
Who have you been fucking? Where were you?
I love that he immediately believes that she's fucking somebody and not staying with Tory or even staying with Sophia or Geraldine. Maybe she just didn't want to sleep alone, dude. Doesn't mean she was out fucking somebody.
But it's amazing that he knows, because it did happen. And it's like, I know that is, his stupid little brain coming to fruition, but he is right.
Yeah. And of course he notices her hair and it's freshly dyed blue.
And we know how he feels about her hair.
Yeah, he's like, I could make a whole bracelet shop with this.
Freak.
So, is he as whiny in the audio at this point as he sounds in my
I
head?
think so. He sounds like a little kid in the audiobook, I think.
Yeah, whiny.
I meant more like in some portions. He sounds playful and jokey and I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, playful is a good way to put it.
Okay. Yeah, he's totally whiny in my head.
Is this the part where she's like, what part of I hate you don't you understand?
I think so.
So he proposes a relationship with Darcy like Tory and Caleb's. He's like, they have a good thing going. We can have that too. And so she's like, I hate you. You have a girlfriend and I hate you. This is the second time he's forgotten about Kylie, by the way. And she's like, do you realize what you did to me? You cut off all my hair. You made me think that you liked me. And then you betrayed me. And I can't get past that. And he's like, what if it was true?
It's like, that's all you got out of that.
Yeah. That's the same shit he used in the first book.
You don't think that he liked her?
No, I don't. I don't think he's capable of liking anyone but himself.
He whines
think he
every
does.
time Darcy's hurt, or he thinks that Darcy's hurt.
Because he
or,
has to.
Or that, like, we see it with Darius, he's very upset when the other heirs are upset, and he wants to comfort them.
I think it's for him, though. I think it's because it makes him more comfortable. It fucks him up if they feel that way around him. But I don't think it's actually from a sense of, like, sympathy or empathy. I don't know if he's capable of that. I think it always roots back to what he needs.
I think some of it is that.
You don't think he could do anything selfless?
Not at this point, no. I think there's always some angle with him.
All right. So Darcy heads to the orb for breakfast with the Ass Club, and they all love her hair. Max shows up to steal one of Geraldine's buttery bagels and ends up in a one-on-one showdown.
And there's an ass whooping.
Geraldine almost wins.
She does win. He cheats.
Siren
Yeah.
powers or order powers are allowed.
He cheats.
She's like, nope, he cheated. It's over.
Oh,
Your unroyal mitts aren't fit to touch my
My
buttery bagels.
bagels.
oh
And the way it comes out in the audiobook is so sexual. Like,
Oh, yeah. I forgot how she was all taken over by lust, so that comes out crazy too.
You're a bad barracuda, aren't you?
That's what I remember. Oh my god.
Even before that, when she's, your unroyal mitts aren't fit to touch my buttery bagels, it's almost like her boobs are
Your
her buttery
unroyal
bagels, or her
mitts.
butt is her buttery bagels.
Oh my god.
Oddly enough, I did not read that like that.
Really?
Well,
Every time I hear it.
Whoa.
Every time I hear it, that's all I can think is, you don't
I
want to
get
touch
why you
it.
didn't.
And of course, Diego is there going, are you sure about this, Geraldine?
Someone smack him.
That impression of him is so funny. Are you sure about this, Geraldine?
Everybody gathers around to watch, and Geraldine does almost win, but Max uses his siren gifts to turn on the lust in Geraldine. And she ends up saying, "What I'd do to see him fall from grace." I need y'all to remember that.
I am so ready, Geraldine. I just want you to know that my body, my soul, my heart is ready to watch Max fall.
And Tory shows up and they decide to mix up some revenge on Max.
Oh my god, this was such a crazy scene. Oh my god, this scene is crazy. It kind of reminds me of if you've ever seen the Hook live action, where they're all like scooping shit from their plate and like throwing it at each other.
With Robin Williams?
That is what it reminds me. Yes!
Yes, I love that movie.
Yes! I love that movie so much, and it reminded me of that.
Especially at first whenever the food is invisible and then they scoop it up and...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that, Christy?
I don't think so.
Really, it's an awesome movie. It's got Robin Williams in it.
I love Robin Williams.
And Julia Roberts. Julia Roberts.
Is Julia Roberts in it?
She's Tinkerbell.
Girl, yeah. She makes a fun Tinkerbell, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. And I forget who's Hook.
I mean, I remember the
I can't think of his name, but he's Rain Man, I think.
Dustin
the guy who
Hoffman?
plays Rain Man. Yes, he's Dustin Hoffman.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And Smee and Hook kind of have some sexual tension going on. Even the actors were like, no, we thought they were together.
That's amazing. That's just amazing. Anyways, sorry for derailing us.
So this breakfast mixture, Geraldine puts it on the ceiling and uses her water magic to put it over Max. And Max is over on the couch with this girl and she's like, "You're so funny, Max. How did you get so funny?"
I practice in the mirror every day.
Yeah, that is the lamest line ever. I
It
practice
is.
in my
I can't
room.
believe he fucking said that.
Oh my god, yeah. Do you have to practice to be funny? You're just not fucking funny?
I mean, granted, I know he's just trying to get her to come back to his room, but be better about it.
Do you want to see what's in my pants? That's funny.
Oh, Christy.
So this mixture splats on Max, and then everybody's like, "Max is covered in griffin shit!" And it splatters on Seth too, and Seth tastes it, and he's like, "It's chocolate!"
Who fucking tastes it? What? I mean, seriously.
The fact that he eats it is insanity.
And Tyler's like, "Seth Capella just ate poo!"
Shit eater!
Oh my god.
Max ate shit!
And the heirs storm out, and they're like, Max is like, "If anybody takes a picture of me, you're gonna regret it."
This is almost as good as Caleb.
The sex doll.
Oh no, that was so
better.
good. That was still one of my favorites. Just the bunny humping the Pegasus out the door. Now, in my mind, I can see it, just like
So same.
because you have to know he's naked. He's doing that. It has to be squeaking,
Yeah. It's so
little head
clear.
bobbing up and down.
Oh my god. Oh my god. You gotta give it to the authors. Those are the best scenes.
Oh yeah.
It is time for the heir trial, and Darcy is super nervous. All the other students are being greeted and hugged by their parents, but the twins have no one.
Sad.
Yeah, though Darcy kind of imagines her parents in the stands, and she calls it a vision. Do we think this might actually be a vision?
Oh.
It could be her talking to her raven.
Yes.
I do think she has some kind of precognition. We talked about it really early on in the series and I said, I have a feeling that's going to come back.
So
And,
if that's the case, then you're saying she sees the future. So does that mean her parents are still alive?
With seers, they can also see the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think precognition may be the wrong term for what she has, but I think before that's what we were talking about, but not in this case.
Although that would be cool to have the parents like still alive, or at least the mother.
Oh, it's like when Harry looks in the mirror of Erised and he's like, oh my god, they're here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we didn't really talk about it, but Tory, whenever the first tarot card comes out of the dead body's hand, Tory says she has a vision of eyes.
I don't remember talking about that, actually.
It's just briefly mentioned, but she gets a small little vision. So both Tory and Darcy have had visions at this point.
But Tori's not open to it, so I would assume even if she has thoughts like that, she's not reading into them. But Darcy is open to it. Don't shrug like that.
On to... So we get to meet Diego's uncle Alejandro.
The worst.
I love that Tori's like, what's with this family in fugly knitwear?
Dude, Tori's hilarious.
And of course, he's got a red woolen scarf. And as far as I know, it's not cold outside.
Yeah, like for what fucking reason do you have to wear that year round, bro?
I hope they choke him with it.
Yeah, he's not very pleasant. He's offering to pay Tory and Darcy back for how much ever Diego paid them to say that they're friends. And basically telling him over and over that he's a disappointment and that he has a worthless life and that he's useless. And that if he doesn't pass the reckoning today, he doesn't have a home to go back to.
That's also reminiscent of the Malfoys a little bit.
So with this new information, do you feel a little different about Diego, or is he still just meh? We're sort of getting to get his backstory.
I feel like he's still a plant in a way. Like that maybe that's his assignment for going into the school in the first place, is to pass the test so he can watch.
We never talked about it, and I've been meaning to talk about it, but in one of our episodes you said that you think Darcy is Diego's assignment. Mm-hmm. What do you mean by that?
That maybe he sent there to watch her, to maybe guide her and, maybe get her to make decisions. Either that or just to spy on her. But I
just
think that
Darcy, or?
I mean, it could be either of them or both of them, but I was guessing Darcy just because he seems to have it's like a bead on her. I mean, it could be that he just likes her too. But I do think there is something there, that he has an ulterior motive for being there, that it has nothing to do with the school.
Any thoughts, Lily?
I think, well, one, my feelings about Diego have always been back and forth. I liked him, and then I hated him, and then I liked him, and then I hated him. And I feel like it's the same now. Like, he's whiny, but I feel bad for him, but it's kind of annoying. But I think that Darcy is his assignment, but in a slightly different way, because I think you were hitting the nail on the head there with the fact that obviously he's been sent there, and we find out later how he got into the school. But obviously he's been sent there to talk to the twins, but I feel like it's more nefarious. I think he was supposed to learn things about them, befriend them, so that he could hurt them, or so that the uncle and Lionel can hurt them.
Yep.
And I feel like he doesn't want to, but that's what he's supposed to do.
So, Lily, you don't think he wants to? You think he's going to end up being good?
Yeah, I don't think at heart he is a bad person. I think he's stupid, and I think that he is... probably just in league with some people who are not good, but I think that he doesn't want it to be that way. But he's also been cast out of his family so much, like they're so hard on him. I wonder if he feels like this is his way to make up for where he lacks.
Yeah.
But he can't even do this right, so he's probably also feeling shitty about that.
So the heirs show up and they share some words with the twins, and then Caleb tries to make Tory apologize for hanging out with Darius. And don't you just want to slap him at this moment?
Yes.
Like, how dare you say that I can't hang out with whoever the fuck I want? We're not boyfriend, girlfriend. We're not in a relationship.
And it's funny because he tried to make that distinction too. He was like, we need to make sure that we know that we're, separate. You know what I mean? Like at the beginning of this section, it was like, we need to define our relationship separately. And then he comes up and he's like, what are you doing with him?
Yeah.
I think he's used to probably being the one that was chased after before. And so
yeah,
I don't think he likes the fact that when he brought that up before, she was like, okay,
Yeah.
It's also a power play here, because if she's apologizing to him, that means she did something wrong.
Yeah.
And Tory ends up making him so mad. She calls him desperate and all kinds of things. And so he tries to bite her, and Darius stops him because he's like, if you bite her, it'll be seen as sabotaging her right before her trial. And Max agrees.
But do you really think that's why Darius stopped him?
I think it's a little bit of both.
I was surprised they cared about that at all.
Cared about...
Sabotaging the trial.
I don't think they did.
Well, Max agreed.
Yeah, I think it makes the heirs look weak that they would try to sabotage her. Not that anybody else would care. It's all about the optics.
Yeah, but their whole use of go drown, things like that. I mean, they're still trying to do things that are going to make them falter. So what's a little sucking?
Well, because they're taking her power. And if she doesn't have enough power to pass the trial.
Yeah, but of all people, Darius knows that her power is almost unlimited. So he really knows that's not going to affect her. Because remember when they were doing the fire thing and like he has to stop and top up and she's still going?
But her power isn't unlimited.
Comparatively.
Yes. All right. So they get dressed in wetsuits and all gather around, but they're a judge short. As Tory said, it's Professor doesn't give a fuck.
Beautifully late as usual.
Yeah. And Orion, I love that Darcy's like, he showed up walking like he was potentially early. And then he starts stripping. And Darcy's like, what the fuck? There are people around. You can't do that.
She starts getting flustered all over again.
That and super jealous and possessive.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I'm not normally a possessive person, but if you look at him anymore, I'm gonna kill you. I was surprised she didn't snap at her sister when Tory was like, that body.
Same. I was also surprised she didn't say something to Tory.
I was like, yeah, that body was pressed against me last night, just so you know. It's mine. And Perseus also strips down. And I swear, other than Mildred, has there been an ugly fae?
I mean, I don't think so.
I mean, there is Milton's unibrow.
I forgot he had a unibrow.
Yeah, it's his defining characteristic. So for the air trial, they have 1 hour to make it across 300 feet of deep water without getting wet and only using air magic to get to a wooden platform. They can work together or alone, which seems a little weird. And they'll be graded on how long it takes them, how many tries, and their skill. If they don't make it to the platform, they fail. Using any other magic other than air gets them disqualified. Fucking Kylie, why didn't you get disqualified? And if they fall in the water, Perseus or Orion pulls them back to the start and they have to start over. What did y'all think about this trial?
I was surprised they were allowed to work together, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I was like, so I know that part of your power is who you know and how powerful they are. But it just... That's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rules felt a little loosey-goosey.
Yeah.
You know, I know that you can only use air. You can't use anything else kind of. So it's like some aspects of it were really strict. But yeah, like them working together was a very odd thing. And them being able to bring Diego along essentially does nothing.
Yeah.
How in the hell? Because he didn't do anything. He just rode along with them.
Yeah.
But yet they're going to allow him to count that as...
Well, he will receive a score. And it won't be the same score as the twins. Because the only power that he essentially used was his power of knowing the right people. Which any kind of power they approve of. But yeah.
It just, if you make it through the trials, you can stay, regardless of your score, correct?
The 4 elemental trials. There's air Thursday, water Friday, fire Saturday, earth Sunday, and then the reckoning on Monday, along with the lunar eclipse. And the elemental trials, you get scores which go into your reckoning score, but you have to pass the reckoning.
Can you do that together? Or we're going to learn that? Oh, okay. So that is separate. Okay.
I wonder if Diego's going to pass.
I bet he will, just because I think he's in the rest of the books.
Damn.
It's in the script.
Damn it.
He could play a different role other than a student.
No, I don't think he could.
She's like, no.
Not Brittany lying again.
lying her ass off.
I'm not lying. I asked a question. Or actually, no, I made a statement. A hypothetical statement. That's what I did.
But they make it over with the help of each other.
Yes.
And they've also helped Diego.
Yeah. And like I said, they get graded on how long it takes them, how many tries, and their skill. So Diego is not going to probably get a great score on this, but he at least passed the trial. If he didn't, some of the people did not pass the trial, they get a 0. And it's not great.
Could you fail one and do awesome on the others and still make it through?
I feel like answering that is a spoiler. Because if I say yes, then you're like, so they failed one. And if I say no, then you're like,
they fail one?
That's why I said if. If I say yes, then you're like, oh, they failed one. And then if I say no, then
So
you're
I
like,
bet they
so
do.
they passed them all.
I bet they fail one and they somehow still squeak through on
Or
the record
somebody
because
might.
it's just
It doesn't have to be
awesome.
the twins. It could be someone
But she
else.
said they.
Yeah, but she was talking in hypotheticals.
Yeah, but it's Brittany hypothetical.
Oh my god.
Anyway.
Christy is holding in that one time that you that you were like, I don't know, and you did know.
Oh no, she straight up lied. I can't remember what it was about too. And she's
Yeah, I
like,
don't
oh
remember.
no, this wouldn't happen or whatever. And then what happens?
No, I said that in Throne of Glass, people only get one mate.
Oh yeah.
And
You also
Rowan
lied
had
to
a
me.
mate.
You also said that to me, but it was true. He only had one mate. It was
It is
just
true. It is
But you
true.
said they didn't
spoiler.
end up.
Spoiler.
They didn't end up together, and they
I don't remember
totally
saying
did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You're like, no, they're not together.
I think you did straight out lie about one thing, but it's okay. I forget.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Try not to lie. I just try
I know.
to point you
try
in the
to
wrong
avoid.
direction. Okay, so Marguerite shows up with her cheerleaders. And I know y'all talked about how the heirs don't care
Oh,
was
God.
super lame. So this time we get the Vega twins are out of luck. It's time for you to give it up.
Yeah.
The Vega girls are super lame. Go ahead, renounce your claim.
Oh my god.
And Vega whore written on their asses.
Is this how they see America?
Apparently. Also, I forgot one. Vega whores are such a bore. The boys they screw don't come back for more. I feel like, why is Marguerite so obsessed with their sex lives? I'm just
Seriously.
saying.
Because she doesn't have one.
Give it up, girl.
Yeah, she can't.
I mean, if anybody's a whore, Tory screwed one boy at this school so far. Darcy screwed one boy at this school so far. Marguerite. I have no known number, but let's just say it's more than one.
We're not slut shaming in this household.
No. I mean, I think it's
We're just
perfectly
Marguerite
fine.
shaming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's perfectly fine. I just hate that she's being so hypocritical about it. She sleeps around, and yet she's basically trying to degrade the twins for sleeping around when they're not even doing it.
Because we hate a Marguerite. Ain't that right, babe?
All right. So the heirs are yelling things at the twins to get them to falter. And Seth yells out, whoever you were fucking last night is having #regrets.
Oh, horny baby.
And
Actually, he's
Orion...
feeling her up in the water.
Yeah. Ryan is not pleased.
Love that.
He tells her to focus. But they do end up passing, and they realize that they can't fail a single one of their trials. They have to do well.
Yeah.
So Tory is showering and thinking of Darius when Caleb comes calling out from her room. And he's like, I messaged you. You've had 15 minutes.
Now, this is where it gets annoying. It's like, bro.
You broke into her room, dude.
But shockingly, it kind of works out for him, huh?
Well, okay, so she screams, and of course that brings Darius. And he's like, I thought somebody was being murdered in here, but let me tell you, he came way late for that. She screamed 14 paragraphs ago. So Tory is in her towel, and she has this thought of, oh, there's only, me and 2 hot guys, and I'm in a towel, and this tiny little towel is all that is keeping me from being naked. And she's a little embarrassed, but she also has some unexplained naughty thoughts. Do you think that she was thinking threesome? Much like Nesta had her thoughts about Azriel and Cassian?
If you were in her situation, would you not be thinking of that?
Caleb and Darius, do you think that they could share?
Yes.
No. Chrissy said yes. I think dragons don't share well.
They don't. But, I mean, vampires don't share very well either. They're very possessive of their...
But Caleb has already shared.
Yeah. Wow.
Caleb has a history.
Remember with Seth?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And there was a girl some of the time?
But they're very possessive of their sources. That
True.
girl was not his source.
True. I'm just saying,
Like,
the
he
first thing
even-
that came to mind.
Yeah. He even barked at Seth when they were in the cave for touching Tory while he was biting her.
Oh, yeah.
I guess it depends on the circumstance, because
So you don't think there's a Caleb, Darius, Tory threesome in the future?
I could see it happening. It wouldn't shock me.
see it?
I don't know if it actually would or not. I could see it.
Maybe
Well,
like
at
an
this
angry
point-
threesome.
God,
gosh.
poor Tory. She make it through?
Tori's angry enough to take them as well.
Yeah, but I'm just picturing her like that poor Pegasus.
Oh my god.
No!
Oh my god.
I hate you for that.
Do you think that Tory would let somebody bend her over?
If it was, yes.
I can't see that.
I think if it was Darius.
I
Not Caleb. Definitely Darius, though.
don't know. That night where she goes to him, he was up pretty late and he was pretty tired. So
Wait, who? What?
Caleb.
Caleb? Darius?
Yeah. Remember later on?
Yeah, when she goes to Caleb.
Mhm.
What do you mean?
Well, he's super tired when he gets there,
What?
and it's been quite a while. And I'm definitely thinking that
I forgot about that. I think Caleb does bend her over his bed. I think she fights him back a little bit, but I'm not sure.
Caleb.
All right, so she kicks them both out of her room and then gets dressed and grabs the stupid dagger, thinking about her horoscope and how it said that danger will come at night because of the stupid dagger that you took.
Fucking idiot.
Yep. And the Ass Club is having a celebration in the twins' honor in the orb. Tory heads to the Ignis common room to meet with Sophia, but only Milton's there, and they have a conversation. She's
Poor
feeling
Milton.
she's feeling
Yeah.
a little guilty.
Yeah.
I love that she invited him, though, and that he accepted. But I do remember y'all saying, because this is something in episode 5 that y'all were like, is Tory gonna recruit him? Is he gonna turn on them? What's gonna happen? So what's gonna happen? What do y'all think?
Like I said, I think he's going to stay on the twins' side. I'm not sure.
You don't think when he finds out that even though Darius knew he didn't do it and still shunned him?
But I think that somebody pointed out, and I can't remember if it was you or Lily, that he can't tell Milton. He has to keep going like it really
He can't.
happened. But I just I am concerned if he did find out, or even if just Darius started being nice to him again, that he would.
Or what happens if after they get out of school and things are different, he goes and tells Milton?
Yeah, I hope not. After what they offer Milton.
I'm wondering if Milton will see it as a
Punishment?
punishment.
So Milton and Sophia and Tory all head to the orb, and Darius is not happy to see Milton with Tory. So he confronts Tory, asks her again if she hates him. Tory can't conceive why he bothers to care whether or not she hates him. And then Orion interrupts. And Caleb tries to make her jealous with another girl.
Which is so dumb because, as we've established, Tory gives no fucks about that man.
Yeah, she's like, I'm more than happy to hand that part of our relationship over. Have at it.
Do you
Oh
guys
my
think
God.
if it was Darius who was trying to make her jealous, it would work?
Yes, I think it would work.
I was kind of thinking that too.
I think she seems a little more emotionally connected to Darius, and with Caleb, it literally is just fucking.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
I think so too. Though she wouldn't want to admit it. She would fight tooth and nail not to admit that, but it would be true.
I think she would help Caleb. I think there would be some sort of protective feelings there, but not on the same emotional level. It's like the romantic emotional level as Darius.
Yeah.
I have no words to say.
You're like, I know the answers, so when I thinks, it's not thinks, I know.
Caleb appears at the table and calls her out for going out with Darius in front of the Ass Club. Geraldine's like, of course she didn't go out with Darius. And then when he shows her the photo, she's like, oh, well, of course the sexy dragon caught her eye.
You know what? Good for you, Geraldine, because that's what being a girl's girl is.
Yeah. And Sophia was like, did you just call Darius sexy? And Geraldine's like, well, of course he's not the most sexy. That clearly goes to Max Riegel.
Caleb.
Oh, yeah.
And then Darius is a close second. Caleb's like, you're ranking me third?
And I like that she's like, of course not.
Absolutely not.
You're fourth.
Seth is third. Poor
She's
Caleb.
like, did you call Darius sexy? I have eyes.
Yeah. Like, duh, I can look. Oh my God. Later on, when we start getting more of Geraldine and her talking about, I just need all the hoses to water my lawn.
Oh my God. I'm going to have a
no
hard
words.
time with hers.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a hard time with Geraldine's chapter. I love it, but
Christy, do you remember how you said that you couldn't wait for Geraldine to beat Max up?
Mhm.
I think they're going to end up together.
I do too.
Oh my gosh.
I think they're going to have little Geraldine and Maxie babies. She's going to bitch slap his ass up and down that house.
If you remember when they were in that water class where they first met Angelica, when she takes off all her clothes to shift, Max is staring right at her. And then he comments when Geraldine's like, well, do you think that hair color would look good on me? And he's like, I like red. By the way,
Oh my God. Yep.
Oh my God.
They're going to
What
be
color
together.
is her hair?
it's a brownish, I think a light brown. Though at some point she dyed the tips blue.
Already?
It was in book 1, I think.
Oh, what?
She
Oh.
it was very short, like mentioned, and she dyed the tips of her hair blue to be like Darcy. She was wearing the same shade of makeup as Tory.
Oh, he's so cute.
So after Caleb gets the shock of his lifetime, he warns Tory and Darcy that there might be some upcoming Hell Week prank. And they decide to leave, leaving Sophia and Diego behind. I felt like that was a little not nice, but you know,
Yeah.
Well, at least for Sophia.
at least for Sophia. And the twins run when the heirs, who watch them leave. And then they decide to be like, gather the freshmen! And they're pursuing the twins, and so they run off to the beach, which then leads to them finding Darius and Orion in their super secret cave.
Oh
with
my
their
God.
On the side training.
Yeah, this whole scene had me so just super nervous. I was just so anxiety ridden reading this whole passage.
Chris, you got any thoughts?
Are you talking about as far as them figuring out
The
that
whole-
like the twins are behind, or are you talking about the dark magic itself?
The whole thing. Anything you,
Yeah, the whole
you
thing.
wanna mention?
So I think that was the first time that it seemed like the twins were really nervous about them figuring out what they did. But yeah, when you're, at least how they kind of put that, the dark magic and what it does to you, I mean, it kind of sounds like if you go too far, too deep, you're done.
Yeah, it is.
And so it seems a little scary to me that he would take, especially Darius, into that realm and be training him. I don't know. I mean, I know you've got to start somewhere, but it just seems a little dangerous. So yeah, that was the same thing. I was really kind of, I mean, I knew they wouldn't go too far just because.
The first thing they do is they use Fey bones to tap into elements that they don't necessarily possess, which is dark magic as well. Any thoughts on why they're learning that, or?
I'm assuming from whatever Lionel's got planned, this is all how they're using the shadows, right? Like teaching Darius to use the shadows to match his father.
Sort of. It's dark magic, but dark magic comes from the Shadowlands. So that's where the nymphs are from as well. So when they use the draining dagger, that provokes the shadows, and there are things that live inside the shadows that are trying to lure them into joining them. So yes, if they were to give in and join them, they would not do well.
But when Lionel talks about somebody controlling the shadows, so you would control the creatures that are in the shadows.
Sort
Is that
of,
right?
but not really. The nymphs, if you remember, Diego says that the nymphs have the power of the shadows.
Mhm.
That is their element. So they already control it. I don't know if there's controlling what's in it. It's just there's voices in the shadows. And you'll learn more about the shadows later.
Okay.
But there's voices in the shadows that they're trying to lure you in.
Yeah.
And they're so addictive that it's very hard to break away.
Yeah.
I was going to say that maybe one reason they're trying to learn to use other magic is to fight the twins.
To fight the twins.
Mm-hmm.
But they're
Because they have all of them.
Yeah, but they're supposedly not scared of the twins.
Okay, sure.
So the vision that they see of Lionel meeting Alejandro, and they have the twins' school file that was in Principal Nova's office.
Yeah.
And Lionel says to Alejandro, I didn't get you into that school so that you and your useless family can not do what I say. And it sounded like y'all think that Lionel got Diego into the school.
Mm-hmm. That's how I interpret it.
I interpret it as he got Alejandro a job or something. Like somehow he got him in, because it didn't sound like he was saying, because didn't he just say, that isn't why I got you into the school? Does he say your family into the school?
He says that him and his useless family won't do what he says. But he says, I got you into the school.
Yeah. See, that's why, I don't know. Maybe I read it wrong.
But it could be said like there's protective wards around, or there's things keeping people out to keep the students safe.
Yeah.
So maybe he snuck him in there?
Who, Diego? Or so
No,
Alejandro? Yeah.
Alejandro.
Oh, yeah. That would make sense. Makes sense.
Do you think that Lionel got Diego in?
Maybe that was a reward for getting that.
So
Maybe
is
so.
Diego working for Lionel?
I think Diego's working for his uncle.
Yeah.
But his uncle's working for Lionel.
Yeah. Do we think Diego knows his uncle is working for Lionel?
Probably.
Do you?
I can't answer that.
Christy waiting for her to answer.
So the twins also find out that Lance is the one that gave Darius the dagger in the first place, and Darcy's a little confused about that. And when they cut themselves, they let out this exhale of a little ecstasy. And yeah. And Lance gets pulled out of this vision after seeing Tory and Darcy together. After seeing Tory fucking Vega standing behind Darius, gets pulled out by Darcy slapping him over and over, saying, wake up, wake up. And he wakes up and sees the dagger and that Tory is literally bleeding out. And
Yeah.
Darius comes out and all he can see is Tory dying.
Okay, Darius in this moment is a different man. That is a different Darius. And we will not see, I fear we will not see him again for a long time. Because the way that he freaks out about Tory is so endearing and different from everything we've seen up to this point. And you can just see all those walls crashing down. And then as soon as he realizes what all of this means, all of those walls go right back up. And they're extra fortified.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's so sad.
It is. It is heartbreaking. And that's the reason why they had them crash the bikes. so that they had these cute little moments and then
They can reflect.
But Darius yells when he figures out that Tory set Milton up. He's like, you made me shun my friend. And I wanted to be like, honestly, dude, no, she didn't. You claim your own actions. You decided to shun him. You could have chosen not to. And
you could have talked to him.
You could have believed him. And that's how she gets Milton on her side. He's like, I didn't steal Darius's gold. She's like, yeah, and I don't want his throne, but he doesn't care about the truth now, does he?
Exactly. He cares about what he thinks. He wants to be right.
Yeah. And Orion's like, well, this works in our favor because they can't say anything. We can't say anything. Let's just go our separate ways. And Darius is like, I'm Faye. I can't let this stand. Yes, you can, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you can. You drowned her. She got you back by burning down your room.
Yeah.
You're
I love
even.
that Orion points that out, too. He's like, did after all the shit y'all done to her?
Yeah.
What did
Orion
you expect?
is great here.
Yeah.
So, of course, Darius shifts into a dragon and flies off with Orion on his back. And Tory vows to never look at Darius the same way or believe that he has any good in him ever again.
And Darcy is really different here, too. And we kind of see that later as well. She gets really, really pissed about the way that Orion handles everything.
Yeah. I want answers, Lance. Well, you're not getting them.
Yep.
I kind of felt like, in a way, her expectations were a little overmuch.
Yeah.
As into that particular situation, he's trying his best to kind of navigate both sides, keep everything calm. And I get she's like a little upset, to say the least.
Well, to be fair, he just held her back from helping her sister while his friend held her down by the throat. And I want to point out here that in Tory's point of view, she feels him tighten his grip. And he was starting to tighten his grip again when Darcy threw him off with magic. Later on, when they're on the island, he's like, I didn't tighten my grip. Yes, you did, dude.
Well,
yes,
you were losing control, dude. That's the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a little problem with that. Maybe anger management classes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, because all his like, yeah, and then he's a dragon.
What? What?
So Darius and Orion go to a island for some privacy, and Darius, as soon as he lands, he changes into his Fae form and starts venting. Like, do you believe the balls on that girl?
Yeah.
Do you believe the balls on you, dude? Because I don't.
I was shocked at Orion just being really honest and clear with him. I was proud of him in a weird way.
But let me tell you, my favorite part is when he's like, are you my keeper or are you my friend? Because I just need my friend. And then he's like, okay, dude. I hear Tory is an awful lay, and the audiobook is so monotone, and he's like, Tory is so awful. She clearly wants to fuck the fire heir, and yet she's not good enough for him.
Yeah, and then Darius is like, yeah, that's
thanks,
right.
But yeah, and Orion explains to Darius that, you know, when he found the twins, they were stealing motorcycles for money. They were living in a one-room apartment with a couch for a bed and a hole in the wall and mold on the wall. And so if they were going to leave, they needed gold. And, you know, maybe you should understand them a little bit. And Darius is like, nope.
But respect to Orion for that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Darius is even like, I don't care if I push them to it. I still don't like it.
Yeah, in this part, he was really irritating. I wanted to just take the shit.
Kind of a baby here. Yeah, and then he's like, oh, yeah, I might have painted myself as a monster to her again.
He's like, oh, God damn it.
Very drama queen. Yeah, it was hard to read him on this one. It was hard to have any kind of feeling at all for him.
No sympathy. Sorry.
It was like a child stamping his foot. My toys.
Well, you know, you heard Xavier, and out of Darius' mouth, he grew up getting everything that he wanted, except for a decent father.
Yeah, but you would think that would at least instill some sort of understanding.
Speaking of his father, Orion mentions him. He says, you actually looked a lot like him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he compares him to Lionel. And, of course, Darius is super pissed off about it. Like he is every time.
Move. That was a bold move to say you look like your dad. Like, don't all men hate that?
Yeah, but, I mean, Darius especially was like, it wasn't his actions reminded him of Lionel. And he vowed to never be like Lionel. And yet he keeps doing it again and again.
Yeah, I think that's what Orion knew was going to break through to him.
Yeah.
Was that.
Yeah. Right. So Darcy wakes up the next morning to several private messages from Orion. He wants to meet her in his office before breakfast and through breakfast and maybe after breakfast. But Darcy's a little angry and says no.
Yeah, more than a little angry. She's like raging.
She's got Mars in her chart today.
Yep.
Mars is backing her. But according to her horoscope, she's going to clash with a Libra who has Mars in his chart too.
I wonder who that is.
Yeah. Right. So when Darcy leaves her room, she runs into Seth and he's like, ooh, I like this angry side of you.
Oh my God, Seth.
Stab him in the penis with a pen.
Wait, what'd you say?
She said she should stab him in the penis with a pen.
What the fuck?
Well, she was so angry in that moment. It was like, come on, if you're going to do it, like, now's the time.
Yeah. And so she comes out of Air Tower and Orion is there taking house points for whatever. And Seth's like, oh, what made you get up before noon, sir? And he flings him away. And Darcy tries to hide in the crowd. And she's like, darn my beautiful hair.
Oh my god.
It's like, girl. She runs into him and she's like, move it, asshole.
Everyone's looking at her like, oh, okay, that's...
Yeah. Everyone is like, ooh, okay, I'm out. I'm gone.
Clear out.
He smiles because he knows that he has her and takes her to his office where he wanted her in the first place.
Yep.
And so he puts up a silencing bubble and they have a conversation. And
this
Darcy,
is where he pisses me off.
Really?
Okay, I was going to ask about that.
Explain.
Yes. It's the way that he handles this conversation. I hate that she's essentially saying, can't you just admit that the way you handled it bothered me and you could say sorry? And he's like, no.
She doesn't necessarily say you should apologize because she's like, I'm not going to hand feed it to him.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. But I still feel like he should see, obviously she's upset and she is making that clear.
He should see it. I don't think he understands it because from the way that he was raised in their world, it should have been obvious you don't interfere in a one-on-one fight, and that's the only reason why you did it, and then you forget about it after it's over. Mm-hmm. And you will see the twins will eventually learn to do that.
But you'd think if he wants to fuck her, he would stop and be like, oh, why are you upset?
Yeah, though he kind of knows. He's like, this is about your sister, right? You should know that this is how the world works. And he doesn't understand.
Yeah.
And he does say that he'll make it up to her. So he does intend on apologizing. He just needs to learn to say the words.
But I get the feeling he's not going to say something he doesn't feel. And I don't think he necessarily is sorry about it, but he does want to make her feel better.
That's a good way to put it.
He isn't going to say something he doesn't feel. But in this case, it's the fact that he's never had to apologize. The Fae don't unless they're weaker and forced to. So he doesn't know how to. He doesn't even think about saying the words.
Okay.
When he says that he's going to make it up to her, he plans a big gesture to apologize instead. Is it a good gesture? No. Not at all.
Is it like a sex gesture?
No.
Really?
No. Like, trust me, when y'all read what he does, you're going to be like, are you an idiot?
Was it a nice idiot? Like he was really trying and
He's really trying.
Okay.
But you'll see whenever he does that gesture, what he sees as an apology. You should be. I mean, just think about the way the world is.
I'm really trying to think if it's not sex, like what the hell?
Say that again.
We'll find out.
I'm trying to think like if it's not sex, like what? I know. Brittany so wants to say it too, though.
In the next section, I will say this. Orion does something that really pisses me off. Really. Ugh. And it's not the apology. It's before the apology, and he needs to apologize again. But anyway, so he kind of starts to understand her point of view whenever she says, I'm not going to stand by and let someone hurt my sister. How would you feel if that happened to you? And he's like, oh, shit.
That's a good point.
And he never looked at it that way. And he does start to understand her point of view from there. Because he has had somebody hurt his sister.
Right.
And he had to stand back and watch.
So he watched it happen to his sister?
Christy, you're a menace.
I mean, I'm not necessarily saying it's the ritual. There's their whole life. Like,
okay.
She fell in with Lionel before the ritual.
Okay, so he didn't see that. Okay, that's what I thought you were saying is he saw her, whatever happened to her, that he was there when it happened. Because before it reads like they didn't know what happened to her, but they knew it was something bad. Damn it.
Dang it.
Oh, I thought you were doing that for her face.
I'm not confirming nor denying anything that you just said.
I'm going to laugh. I'm going to write like all this stuff down tonight that I think you let slip, and then we'll see if I like none of it.
So the trick with Brittany is to not say
Suck
whenever she lets things
Dr.
slip.
Pepper.
Friend.
That will never happen.
Because my brain is like, whoa!
I mean, you never know. I could very distinctly be pushing you down a path.
I mean, I know you are half the time, but in that moment, in that one moment that we just witnessed. Oh, Brittany.
Yeah.
You never know.
I know. I feel like it's a podcast with a backstory of Clue.
Who knows? It was Jenkins in the library with the candlestick.
Oh my god.
The next section will be very telling, so you won't have to remember. I think next section we get our first point of view from Max.
You have a point of view
But
already?
yes,
I don't
briefly,
think so.
but I don't think
Have
it was
we?
a chapter.
Yeah, because then it talks about
Was
his...
it not?
Well, Tory goes into his head and you get his point of view
okay.
then.
Okay, that's what I was thinking of that.
But technically it's her point of view.
Okay.
You
Okay.
get a whole chapter that is his next.
Okay. I don't know why I thought that was like a whole chapter for him.
And I think there's some other things like, we get the reckoning, the Earth trial, and the lunar eclipse all in the next section. So after she confronts him about the sister thing, he goes back to his desk and pulls out a bottle of bourbon, and it makes Darcy so sad. And she mad too, but she goes over there and rips the bottle out of his hands and she's like, deal with your feelings. And then she goes to throw it out the window, and he actually does it himself. And he has a weird reaction, almost like he first realizes that she cares about him kind of reaction. And I'm like, dude, I don't understand.
Yeah. He has like a shocked face.
But like you said, though, that in the Fae world, that may not be the norm. You know, even if you're dating somebody, they may not really care about you.
That is true. That is true.
Especially for something considered weak.
The Orion is not weak.
No. That being emotional.
Oh, well,
Like that facet of him. Not him, but just that piece of him.
I think that his need for the bourbon is considered weak, but emotions themselves are only considered weak by people like Lionel or Felix Oscura. I can't say his last name. He's a character from the Dark Fae.
I would think Stella, too, though, because she's a lot like Lionel.
She is a lot like Lionel, and she holds a lot of his beliefs, but she uses emotions as weapons. So she uses her emotions to manipulate people. So she kind of views it as a power for herself, but a weakness for others. She's totally a narcissist. All right, so they end up kissing, and Orion bites her.
Hot.
And she feels his heart on, and she's like, we're not going there. I'm still mad at you. And he asks her a favor. He wants her to talk to Diego about his uncle. Where does he work? Where do they live? What's he doing? And he's like, I think that he and Lionel are working together on something bad.
I was surprised he asked this of her, but I think it's also a good sign that he trusts her.
Yeah. I mean, I also think he didn't have any other choice.
True.
He's right. Diego is not going to confess to him. He's not going to talk to Darius.
Yeah, but I feel like if it weren't for their relationship being the way it was, he could have found other ways to find out that information, right? Or he might have tried. But
He might have tried, yeah.
the fact that he did ask her speaks a little bit towards that.
True.
So what would kind of be cool is if you had Darius and Orion, Tory, Darcy, Sophia, and Geraldine all like the Scooby Gang.
Oh, that'd be cute.
So Tory runs into Darius.
Hang on.
When Darcy leaves Lance, saying that she's still mad at him, Seth is waiting outside, and his pack come by, and they have a little exchange that kind of has Darcy feeling like fighting some wolves, even though she's like, I don't want to be part of your pack anyway.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Seth is trying to assert his dominance over the pack still, but it's not really working out for him.
And he's still not ready to let her go.
I want to say I'm surprised, but I'm not.
Yeah. And this is the first time Darcy's like, well, maybe Seth does have feelings for me. I don't understand those feelings, but...
No, just no. He does not have feelings for her. I think if she were to be like, I love you, Seth. Oh my goodness. He would be like, whoa, no, never mind. I think it's literally just because she is pushing him away.
I agree that he would hate that if she said something like that, but I feel like it's because he's emotionally immature and not because he doesn't like her. I think he's like a 10-year-old kid, doesn't know how to handle his feelings towards her, and so therefore he bullies her.
I thought he was just a sociopath.
I think he is insane as well.
So Tori's on her way to her water trial. She's on a run, and she runs into Darius. quite literally.
Ah, yes.
He catches her from falling, but then ends up pushing her in the mud.
Asshole.
And calling her a whore. And getting in an argument with one of his best friends.
But I like that. I love that Caleb stood up for her. And why?
Though I think it's funny and true, Tory points out that he doesn't care that Darius belittles her, just the way he belittled her.
I think it was like the physical, which is...
He says anybody can push somebody. It doesn't say anything about her power or your power.
Yeah.
And it's weak and petty.
Yeah.
And so for the water trial, they have to collect 3 keys. 1 from a block of ice, 1 from a relentless waterfall, and 1 from the depths of the lake itself. Only water magic is allowed, and siren gifts are not. And I wonder, because siren gifts, I'm assuming that they have some kind of power over water or can breathe underwater or something like that.
That's what I was getting.
If siren powers are not allowed in the water trial, then wouldn't them being impervious to fire not be allowed in the fire trial? And this is getting a little ahead, but
I guess it's what you can control, though. And that's not something they control. It's just like they're fire retardant, right?
Maybe.
They're impervious to fire. They cannot burn.
Right. So they don't, right. But it's not like a power they're using.
Yeah.
It is.
They didn't know it either.
Yeah.
But I was like, if order gifts aren't allowed, what does that mean for them technically using an order gift? In the
they
fire.
don't really use it though. It is, right? Like they could not do it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I guess if it's something it just happens. But yeah, I get you though, because there's a couple times some of the rules don't seem to match up with how the world works.
Yeah. And to be fair, I only thought about this on a reread. It never comes up later. But so Darius yells about, "Don't drown, Tory," and Max adds, "Again." And people are laughing, and I just don't understand what is so funny about drowning.
I don't either.
Like, that's not a prank. That does not show any kind of weakness. You can't breathe underwater. Like, I'd like to see them try to breathe underwater.
Yeah.
And try to get out of the water with it being iced over. Let's see how you like it and how well you fare.
Yeah.
So they go for the deep. Oh, well, first of all, we have to mention Washer in his robe. And Tory's like,
God.
"Oh, thank God he's covered up." And then
Howdy.
And then he reveals him wearing a red thong Speedo.
We knew it was coming.
We did.
Oh, Lord.
Never think that Washer's ever going to cover himself up. I'm sure if he ever dies, he'll be naked then too.
Is he older or is he like younger?
I think
How
he's
do they
like
describe him?
middle-aged.
I know he's older than Lance because he taught Orion when Orion was a student, though Orion's only been out of school for 4 years.
Yeah.
I picture him as 50s.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking,
Okay.
like 40s to 50s, like middle-age-ish.
I picture him like I think the character's name Ed Bundy from Married with Children.
Oh my god.
And is it Ed Bundy or the main guy, right?
I think I am picturing the right guy, but I've never seen it, so.
But yeah, that's who I picture him in my head.
That is not how I see him, but that's horrifying.
I picture him as a skinny orange
Yeah.
50-year-old who's
And kind of wrinkly and
Yeah.
super tanned. You know what I mean? Like those
Al
people.
Bundy.
Who?
Yeah,
Al
Al Bundy.
Oh.
Sorry.
What were you saying, Lily?
Oh, I was just thinking, in my mind, he's like been tanned so much that his skin is like wrinkly and dark and looks a little bit like he's,
A skinny Trump.
Oh God.
He's a Cheeto.
yeah.
Wrinkly, skinny Trump.
Oh God. No, it's all honesty when I look at Trump.
I mean,
Oh,
Trump's
can you
known for
imagine that
his-
man in a Speedo?
Oh, no, I don't want to. Oh.
Instant birth control.
Birth control. Oh.
So they go for the depths first, and they have to dive and get the key, which they do. And then they go to the ice to do next. And Tory says she doesn't know how to melt ice. And this is what gets me about this trial. If they've never been taught how to melt ice, why put it in their trial?
I agree.
If you didn't teach them how to do it,
I agree.
they shouldn't be tested on
I
it.
think it's stupid. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Maybe they're testing because it's like you can test your creativity and ability to get through obstacles without giving them something that's just like something they just can't do.
Yeah. Anyway, the trial goes really well. They get all 3 keys first, and they swim out to the wooden plank first, so that the first one's finished. And this time, instead of Marguerite being there to chant at them, they've got Geraldine.
Oh.
And the Ass Club.
The Ass Club came to represent.
Yeah. Why didn't they show up at the first trial?
I mean, that's a good question.
Why?
Which I did like their chants.
I didn't write them down. What were they?
I have to look up specifically what they were, but to me, they felt more zingery.
Zingery?
Yes. But I think you said, though, that in the book it didn't come off quite as good. Like, in my head, it actually read better.
I think Lily said that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I think I read them as maybe a little more like hip-hop, kind of.
When I read them or hear them on the audiobook, all I can think is, I was a cheerleader, and there's this one cheer that we had to learn, and it's the only one that stuck with me, but it's, we're number 1, can't be number 2, we're gonna beat the whoopee out of you.
Oh my gosh.
And of course, that included us pulling up our skirts.
That reminds me of Geraldine.
Yeah.
You pull up your skirts, but you can't say the shit out of you?
I was 5.
Oh.
I don't know if I was 5. It was probably more like 8, but yeah. And we had bloomers on, but...
Well, yeah, but okay, never mind.
All right, so between the nightmares and the shadows, Tory can't get any sleep, so she heads to the common room hoping to meet up with Sophia or Milton, which I love the fact that she's already looking for Milton.
Right.
And he's already become somebody she's looking forward to seeing.
I think it's great.
But sadly, it's just Darius and his fan club.
Ugh.
And he gives her the idea to go screw Caleb.
Oh, this is great.
Marguerite's like, he only wants you for your power. And Tory's like, no, he gets my body too. And Darius blocks the exit with a wall of flame and says it's after curfew and she can't go out. And if she's found out after curfew, she'll be in major trouble with him. But he also tells her there's a new article out and snatches her atlas to look it up for her.
And this is the fatal mistake.
Can you say that again?
And this is the fatal mistake.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I could be Tory and just sit there and wait. I think I would have punched him in the balls or kicked him.
Something.
Don't touch my phone.
Yeah.
Password protect that bitch.
Do something. I mean, if he's grabbing your atlas, I think that's suspicious.
Yeah, and we find out later he ended up forwarding all her emails to his account, which she should be able to see.
Right.
I can see when I forward things.
Did he have enough time to do all that?
Yeah, like
She
how?
does say that he takes a long time, and I guess he can just hit select all and forward.
Maybe, yeah.
Oh, true.
I don't know. I don't know how atlases work.
Or maybe the other option, it does say he sends them to his atlas, but maybe he sent himself the password or something. I don't know. Like if she uses a password manager, I know I'm getting way too logical about this, but if you use like an Apple phone and you have a password manager, you can nowadays just log into the password manager and look at your password.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The article that he ended up showing her was by Mr. Pecker again, and it's about the twins possibly cheating their way through the exams. And Tori's like, I don't give a fuck. He can say whatever he wants.
I mean, a liar is a liar.
And then Darius is like, well, you should call Caleb first because last I saw he was with Millie Badgerville and it'd be kind of embarrassing if you walked in on them. And she's like, no, she can join in. It's fine.
What the fuck kind of name is Millie Badgerville?
I have no idea. And I don't know how Badgerville fits in with the stars. So
I don't know.
But I love, like, this is, again, she's got threesomes on her brain. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Okay, Tory.
She heads to Terra House and messages Caleb. 15 minutes. He goes running out of his room and she breaks in. And
I love how excited he is.
He like sits up, he sees it and he like sits up. He's like, oh yes. And she's like, do you want a hint? And he's like, I'm starting to think you want to get caught, babe.
mean, maybe
And
just a little.
She sends him a selfie of herself on his bed. She gets no response back on the atlas because he is too busy rushing himself back to his room.
Freaking out.
And she said she's giving him a pass for today since he stuck up for her. But honestly, she's totally using him to get away from the shadows. And
Sorry, can you repeat that last bit?
I said she tells Caleb that he gets a pass for sticking up for her today. But really, she's just using him so that she can suppress the shadows and the nightmares.
Yeah, which is really sad because I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like it's kind of sad that she's using him. But then also, if she talked to Darius about it, I wonder if they would both have similar experiences that they could, like, compare.
You mean about the shadows?
Mm-hmm.
When they were in Orion's point of view, Orion was like they had to learn how to ignore the shadows and protect themselves from the voices and learn to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that they've thought through the fact that Tory is now dealing with that and that she has no training on how to deal with that.
Seriously.
And if she went to Orion about it, do you think that he would help her?
Maybe.
Yes.
I think it's likely.
Do you think that she would ever go to Orion?
Possibly.
And
if
ask
she
for
gets
help.
desperate enough.
I could see Tory doing it.
But I think Orion would definitely help with anything like that. I mean, that protects him because if she loses control, then it puts them all at risk.
That's true. All right, back to Caleb. He says that he's still loyal to the heirs, and she's like, I know, I can fight my own battles, but I want you tonight, so...
Let's ignore that.
He's like, I don't know if you can, because you promised me punishment for the pool incident, but I haven't been punished yet. And she's like, if only you knew.
Oh, sweet baby boy.
And she's like, I have a promise to keep, and gives him a nice little blowjob there.
My goodness.
And we get a put your hands on the headboard scene.
Love that. But really the best part about this whole thing is the next morning.
Yeah. Well, he asks her to stay and she agrees because, and the shadows feel fainter in her arms, but while this is happening, Darius is flying around in his dragon form and he's waiting for her to come out and it's almost dawn and it's not happening. And it's making him angrier and angrier.
Yeah.
So he goes to King's Hollow and calls all the heirs to him. And supposedly, when this happens, when any one of them calls the others, they're supposed to come running. And Caleb's like, I'm busy.
It's the I'm busy for me. I'm in the middle of something.
Yeah. Darius is like, I know who you're busy doing. It's about her. Get your ass here.
Another hour or two, please.
And then, of course, Seth and Max show up, and Max has to use his siren gifts to calm Darius down, and he is having difficulty from Darius just not exploding. And so he calls Caleb, and Darius threatens him from a distance because he broke his own atlas, and he's like standing there bleeding. And his skin is so hot that he burns Seth. And of course, Seth gets there and he's naked and he immediately wants to hug Darius. And Darius is like, if you hug me while your junk is out, I will rip it off.
Oh my God.
Seth is such a whiny baby. And it's hard because I've seen him like a little puppy dog in a way. Like, oh, I don't want to hate puppies.
He is a puppy dog. So Caleb finally shows up with his just fucked hair and a love bite on his neck that he just conveniently forgot to heal. And then Darius brings the news on him.
He's looking all smug, and then his smirk slowly turns into a face of frustration.
Yeah, he goes all quiet, and he just quietly seethes. And it dawns on Darius admits that Tory admitted that she burned down his room. And Max is like, well, Darcy was in that detention with us with the griffin poo. And Seth's like, well, they haven't done anything to me. And then he's like, the only thing that's happened to me is fleas.
And then he's like, huh.
I'm gonna kill them.
It's a funny moment to read about, but it's also like, fuck, they're figuring it out.
Yeah, and they do agree to go about terrorizing the girls a different way. So every time that they've come at them head on, they just get back up and come out more defiant. They rise above it. And so they're like, we have to do this differently. So we're going to let them try the reckoning. If they fail, then problem solved. But if not, then we're going to make things so much worse for them.
Yeah.
And Caleb suggests using Hell Week as a way to terrorize them.
I think that this is the point where Caleb and Tory's relationship might end for good. Because if it goes the way I expect it to, which is I think Tory's going to end up with Darcy. Or, I mean, not Darcy. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I think Tory's going to end up with Darius. Then I think that this is probably the unforgivable for Caleb.
Oh, you think Caleb is going to not be the forgiving one?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you meant for, okay, never mind. Anyway. I have no comment on that. But I do love that they acknowledge that even with, like, the werewolf fleas, that's sophomore magic. And Darcy pulled that off without a hitch.
Yeah, she did it really easily.
Yeah, it was like, oh, you just do this and you do that and nothing went wrong. And she pulled off the hair magic without a hitch, too.
But those were also, they're not conjuring magic, it's like spells and potions, kind of.
Yeah, but, I mean, we don't learn much about potions here, but imagine if potions were like Harry Potter potions.
Yeah.
They could be very difficult. We don't know.
It seems like they're kind of like baking, though. Like, here's a recipe as long as you do it this way.
It's the same in Harry Potter.
It's the same in Harry Potter, but if you do one little itty-bitty thing the slightest bit wrong, then your potion is a goner.
Yeah.
And it won't work. And Darcy is not only a freshman, but she's literally new to this world. And she's pulled off 2 magics above her year.
Yeah.
That went off without a hitch.
That's a good point.
So you're saying it's not super believable?
I'm saying that it kind of makes you think that Darcy, at least, but that Tory and Darcy are either naturally gifted.
Okay.
Maybe like magical savants.
Yeah.
Or it's maybe a little unbelievable. Depending on what the authors wanted you to think about them.
Yeah.
Maybe they are meant to be magical savants.
Divinely blessed, maybe?
Yeah.
By the stars.
Sure.
Your face.
All right. So Tory is with Darcy the next morning when it starts raining, thundering, and lightning inside their room.
Annoying.
It's Hell Week.
Yep.
It's the 9 circles of hell. It's guts.
Okay, so let's talk about the fact that people actually don't make it out of this.
What do you mean?
Their intention was for people to, like, not make it out of the 9 circles of hell when they did this. And of course it's for the twins, but a lot of other people got caught up in it.
Yeah, they pull all the freshmen so that it's not obvious that it's just for the twins. And while they don't complete the prank and they are maybe stuck in a circle of fire, no one gets hurt or dies.
I thought that they did.
No, because at the end, Seth, like, what was it, a shirt or something that he threw?
And he was
that he
like,
actually put that.
Yeah.
But he was like, and nobody else had that on him. It was
Yeah.
just his shirt. So, yeah, I think they were just trying to scare everybody, but had to kill him.
And at the end, when they run into the orb, they're like, this is where all the freshmen are. That's where they went when they got kicked out of the 9 circles of hell. They didn't complete the challenge, and that was their failure.
Mm-hmm.
But the twins do. They made it, despite the fact that they're chased down by Darius in air, Seth and Max on the ground, and Caleb is zooming in and out, wrapping them in vines, which Caleb really pissed me off here, with the thorns and making them bleed.
Yeah.
That was a little unnecessary. Like,
The whole thing is unnecessary.
well, the whole thing is unnecessary, but
Sorry.
But you didn't have to. It's like just adding that one more thing that had to be
He's
just
peeved.
an asshole. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they make it through the last circle, and Caleb appears, and then Seth appears, and then Max, and then Darius. They're surrounded, and they try to leave. They're like, I want to go back to bed. And Darius threatens them with fire, and Caleb too. And then Seth and his little whine was like, they know they're not really in facing, right? And they're like, Seth, you're not supposed to tell them that.
Goofy.
Yeah. And Max shackles them with ice, but he doesn't use his siren gifts because Tory is threatening him with her gaze.
I don't remember that part either. I don't remember her
You don't?
looking at him and, like, silently talking to him. No, I don't.
She's not silently talking to him. It's Darcy's POV. So she just mentions that Tory was glaring at Max, a threat in her eyes or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of implied, and they're told to beg, which of course they refuse to do.
Bend for me.
Yeah, and Caleb and Max are using coercion on them, trying to get them to say what they want them to say, and they refuse. And not only do they overcome the heirs' magic, but they melt the ice cuffs, throw them off, and produce a shield that the heirs can't get through.
They fucking killed it.
Yeah, all the way to the orb.
So they literally just got through at their little treehouse talking about the fact that they keep coming at them.
Yeah.
And they're just making them stronger and more defiant.
I was
and
thinking
yet they
that
turn
too.
around. Yeah, right? Exactly. They turn around and do the exact same fucking thing.
Yeah.
It totally backfires.
It does, but I also think it's a way to, like, the girls expect the heirs to do this kind of thing to them. And it's lulling them into believing that things are the same. Although Caleb is not doing a very good job of making them believe that things are the same.
Yeah.
No, it's so clear that he's upset.
Yeah, and Seth too. Darcy was like, does Seth look like somebody pissed on his grandma? No, he looks like we pissed on his grandma.
It's like, you guys are not being subtle at all.
Not at all. Not at all. And when they get to the orb, the Ass Club is there. The other freshmen are there. And Darius is so enraged. And everybody is applauding them. And they're like, we saw you win. We saw it.
Mm-hmm.
So at the fire trial, Darcy's exhausted. And they enter the fire arena. And they hear this sound going off. And it is literally a gif of the worst moments of their time at Zodiac.
Yeah.
And nobody even comments on it.
It's pretty fucked up of them, actually.
Yeah. And Darcy does think about, she's been avoiding Orion, but the time away from him has been making her realize just how much she cares about him.
Oh my gosh.
She tried to talk to Diego, so she's also made a plan to ask him to the fairy fair.
Which I'm so excited for. I'm sorry. I am so excited for that.
Are you though?
Yes.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, because I want to learn more. I want to know more.
So they decide not to wear their fire protective suits, and Professor Pyro's like, okay, well, whatever, but if you get burned, the school's not liable. Have at it.
And it really helps, though. It really helps them.
Yeah. Darcy, when she's casting, she's like, this really makes a difference that we're not wearing them.
But I wonder why. I was confused as to why I guess it's like restricting or...
Yeah. For the fire trial, they have to walk across a narrow bridge while casting a shape out of fire approximately 10 inches in diameter. They will be graded on complexity, clarity, and length of time it's held. And they only have 20 minutes to do this. And of course, Caleb's like, you can just cast my dick.
Is that the
Too
best
small,
you
buddy.
got? Too small.
I love that Pyro's like, I wish you'd cast something more sanitary, but...
She's like, sure.
Also, I wish Tory would have been like, she said complex. Is your dick complex?
Mm-hmm.
All the heirs are there. They're kind of quiet, but Margarita's there going, let the Vegas burn, which is kind of like rooting for murder. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So the arena splits down the middle with narrow metal bridges that are barely wider than their shoes over a lava pit. And these are metal. So of course they hold heat. I feel like they would be burning.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm confused.
Like there's that one girl that kind of scoots across the bridge. How did she not burn her ass off?
I'm wondering as well. Makes no sense.
Yeah. To me, I was kind of disappointed with that trial. I felt like it could have been much more exciting, and it was kind of boring.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't understand what they expect them to do to get through it. Are they like controlling the heat level or?
I don't know.
I guess.
But so far, they've only been teaching them how to make shapes. So... Again, how are they supposed to pass this?
Yeah, it was very odd, I thought.
But Sophia cast a diamond, Tory cast a motorbike, of course, and Darcy casts a very intricate flower, and she makes the flower petals fall away like embers.
How very Darcy of her.
Yeah.
Is it supposed to be like artistic? Like they just have to hold that while they're crossing the lava pit?
I think that's part of the complexity, is to hold that while walking across. But then as you notice, there's, fire spewing up from the bottom lava pit, and then the bridges start trembling at some point, and Darcy's like, I'm clumsy on normal occasions, so now I gotta walk across this bridge. I feel like that part of it, I'm very clumsy. I walk into mailboxes and walls. I don't know if I'm very balanced. I don't know if I could have done it. And if you fall, you're falling into a lava pit.
It's like the parapet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's precisely what it is. And I'm wondering, do people catch them if they fall?
That was my thing. Do they die if they? It's kind of like in Fourth Wing. Like, do you actually have students that are like?
It's kind of implied. Like either there's gasps from the crowd when some of the students are burned badly, and they've got a raging fireball coming at them. If it knocks them off their bridge, then who's gonna?
When Darcy falls?
Yeah.
And then, is it Tory that meets Darius's eyes? And it talks about...
Darcy meets Darius's eyes.
And he has his hands raised.
I feel like he's...
Like this? Like, yay, they're dying? Or I didn't get that part. I didn't understand.
I felt like it was... He raised his hand to cast. Like he was going to try and save her.
Oh, okay.
I don't know for certain because they never address it.
Right.
But that was my impression.
Yeah, I felt like some of the descriptions in there were a little...
Yeah, because
they left out certain things.
All of their magic is done with like hand gestures. So if they ever lose their hands, they'll never be able to cast magic again. So when he said that he was there with his hand raised, that was my thought, was that he was going to try to save her. Though he has fire and water magic, so I don't know how he was going to save her. Okay. After the wrecking ball, then they get these spurts of lava fire that are burning people, and they try to run for it, but one blasts under their feet. And surprisingly, they're not burned, and they're so confused. Mm-hmm. And then they get to the end, it happens again, and then they're like, what the fuck? And then they get to the end, and there's a door of fire. And Tory's like, do you trust me? And sticks her hand in there, and she's like, oh, it's not burning. And so they just jump through. And of course, this makes all the crowd go quiet. They're like, what the fuck? The heirs are scared. And then, of course, Geraldine and the Ass Club go wild, though.
The Ass Club.
Yeah, the Ass Club.
Now, we talked about this, but so they assume that they're dragons. And dragons are also unaffected by fire?
No.
Right.
So they get an email from Principal Nova saying that she expects them to be a rare dragon, but she's never heard of any creature being impervious to fire.
Right. Ooh. Love that. I know, I felt the same way. I know. It's okay.
And of course, there's a big ass celebration in the orb afterwards.
I love that Geraldine throws some parties and celebrations.
Yeah. I love that she taught the twins how to booby trap that tower of cupcakes. And it explodes in Max's face.
You know Geraldine
wants
loves
to lick it off.
She did. And so after the party, Diego and Darcy walk back to Air Tower together, and Darcy asks Diego to the fair.
And she does not make it sound like a friend thing. She makes it sound like a date.
Yeah.
It's really supposed to be like a, hey, let's make Sophia jealous thing. Plus a way for her to get some info on Diego's uncle. And to be fair to her, she is not thinking of Diego as a guy.
Right.
She's thinking of him as a friend. But as much as Orion has pointed out the fact that he thinks that Diego has a crush on Darcy, there are too many D names.
Yeah, I know.
Darcy,
I keep
Diego,
messing them up.
Darius. As many times as Orion has pointed out that Diego might have a crush on Darcy, you think that she would have thought that through a little.
Plus, too, Sophia liked him at one point. So wouldn't it be kind of weird to ask your friend's ex-boyfriend to something like that?
Yes. The answer is yes.
It would. It would. Unless you're a Pegasus.
Huh?
Who, like the wolves, have group orgies.
Oh.
Okay. So Darcy returns to her room to a surprise. Seth is laying on her bed and he threatens her. He's like, so fire doesn't burn you, so what? Air will still suffocate you and vines will still choke you.
Dude, he's so flip-floppy. I mean, I know that now he has a reason, but goddamn, make up your mind.
Yeah, he's annoying.
Yeah. And she's like, I wonder why he's so angry. And then she's like, oh my God, I hope he didn't find the Aquarius moonstone.
And then she looks.
And she looks for it and she can't find it. And then she finds it behind her desk lamp.
What?
So who here thinks that he did find it and
Moved it.
Moved it, yeah.
I think that he heard her coming and was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And put it back.
Oh, I think he moved it.
Yeah.
At least when I read it, I thought it was because he was doing it to fuck with her.
He could have done that too.
You know, you thought
Yeah.
it was here now, and so she's gonna. But honestly, at this point, they should know something is up that the others know what
Seriously.
they've done. Because Darius, they know already knows. How have they not figured that out?
Yeah. So that's the end of this section, but we have upcoming the Earth trial.
Mm-hmm.
What do y'all think that might be? Now that you've gotten a feel for how the trials have been.
I don't know.
Go ahead. I'm trying not to. Sorry. Yeah. I was wondering if we're going to see another glimpse of the cave. Like, maybe it'll be set in a cave. Like that time that they dangled. Was it Tory or Darcy? They dangled off the ledge. I don't know.
Tory.
It's usually Tory, right?
Yeah. Okay, so there's the Earth trial, but there's also the Fairy Fair. We have any thoughts on
I am
any
so
predictions?
excited. I think they're going to have to ride the Ferris wheel, and Diego's going to be terrified. And I think they're going to get stuck up there, and he's going to try to kill her. No, I'm just kidding.
I think he's gonna try to kiss her.
You're right. That's the more accurate decision. You're so right. Oh, that
Why
would
are
be
you
great.
laughing, Brittany? Look at Brittany's face. Can you see it?
Because I want to say things so badly.
Oh, I'm so excited to read that chapter.
Then after the Fairy Fair, y'all got any thoughts on the Reckoning?
I have no clue.
I think shit's gonna go down. Like, all kinds of shit.
There's going to be a Reckoning.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my lord. Yeah, I don't know. Like, even the trials and stuff were not what I was thinking. So,
What about for the lunar eclipse? How do you think that's going to go?
that's going to be crazy.
Yeah, we got sex ed class because the eclipse is supposed to
Mhm.
bring out the carnal in them.
Oh my god.
Any thoughts on hookups?
Oh, Jesus.
Geraldine!
Maybe Geraldine and Max.
Well,
I feel like I'm really nervous because I feel like Darcy still, I don't know, I feel like Darcy might hook up with someone else eventually, and that's going to be a mistake.
you talking about because she's mad at Orion?
Yeah, I don't know how long their fight is going to last, but I think, I don't know, I just feel like she's going to hook up with
Aw.
someone and it's going to be it's going to be bad for their relationship.
Well, he's not Seth.
I feel like it's going to be Seth.
But he's so mad.
I just have a feeling.
Maybe
How-
like doggy sex.
Any thoughts on what the heirs might do?
Stamp their feet and cry like babies.
Oh my goodness. Yeah,
How they're going to get their payback?
I really don't know. But I think they're going to be angry for a while and then realize they can't uphold that anger because they've all kind
Is
of
it-
developed relationships.
You talking about with the twins?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Geraldine.
You mean, you said both.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? You said both of them formed kind of
I
relationships.
said they've all formed relationships.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would like to get past this whole retaliation thing and get to the actual
Yeah.
bad of the series. That's getting old really quick.
Yeah, okay, maybe the Reckoning will bring about them all realizing Lionel is the bad guy, and then they
Mhm.
kind of have to band together, even though they still kind of hate each other, but then they have no choice at that point.
So there's one more book of, I think, revenge back and forth.
Oh,
Ugh,
Sorry.
it's okay.
It's better, I think. We'll see.
All right, I guess that wraps up this section of Book 3 of the Zodiac Academy series, The Reckoning. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Next episode, we're going to be discussing Book 3, The Reckoning, chapters 26 through 39. New episodes drop every week.
Please remember to like, subscribe, and follow us on social media. That like and follow are super important for us to be able to continue to bring you new episodes each week. So please, please, please do so. Thank you for listening to the Midnight Readers podcast. We'll see you next week.
Happy reading, listeners. Don't stay up too late.